Good morning, Reese here, Reese's Shed, and this is the 8-hour thrash. Stick around. So just a quick recap, I've been out in the shed this week. This isn't the only work I'm going to get done this week. I came out on Wednesday or Thursday night, I'm not really sure now, I can't remember, and I heat wrapped these exhaust manifolds. So I heat wrapped the manifolds and I heat wrapped the crossover pipe, and I managed to ruin a set of overalls in the process and end up really itchy head to toe because I didn't use any sort of protection. I had bare sleeves. I did try a pair of gloves which didn't really work and I managed to get it done, and I'm happy with the wrap, but I just think if I was ever to do that again next time, which I probably won't, I'll take more precautions because I'm still itchy today and it's been 2 or 3 days. So I'll give you a look at what I've done with those manifolds, and then we're going to start trying to get this fuel cell fitted. Alright, so this is the crossover pipe all wrapped, that manifold's all wrapped, and I've actually got this one fitted. Everything's all back together there, good to go. So I'm happy with that. It's just very itchy and I don't really like it. I hate working with that heat wrap and I don't think I'll ever do it again. I also got my blow-off valve welded on to the intake pipe, which is really cool, the charge pipe. So I'm happy that's done as well. Got that sorted out during the week. That's another thing that we got done. Plumbed it up with a piece of vacuum hose. So yeah, we're good there. We just got to focus on getting the fuel cells in the boot. So I'll show you the fuel cells. We'll decide which one we're going to use and then we'll get started fitting them. Alright, so in the back of the ute here, there's a lot of parts that we don't need anymore. So we're going to do a clean up. We'll pull all this stuff out of here, figure out what we're keeping, what we're not, and we'll get our fuel cell in there. So I've never had this tray cleaned out before and it's actually in really good condition, so I'm happy with that. No damage that I can see. I will show you guys some rust repairs that we need to do later on, but it's not going to concern us today. Along the lower of this windscreen here, there is actually usually a panel that comes around and kicks in. That's completely on. For now, not worried about it, but yeah, look at the floor. Not a spot of rust in the whole thing. So the only logical thing to do is to cut a hole in it. So I've got 2 cells here, which I'll show you. So I've got this one. This was out of my burnout car. 40 litres, it's got straps, everything's all ready to go. It does need a clean out. I can't see in there. It does need a clean out, but that's not really too much of a worry. So that would be the easiest. That'd be the easiest solution, most convenient, just to mount that somewhere there. And the good thing about this one is that we've got the fuel fittings right at the bottom of the tank there. So if we just cut out a wedge out of the floor, that'll sit down below the floor. This will sit flush with the floor, and then our fuel lines will be easy to run to the front. So that's one option. Now let's get out the Timu Special and see what condition that sort of thing's in, because I haven't had a good look at it yet. I pulled the box apart a few months ago when it first came in, and it looks okay, but I really didn't look over it too much. So we'll get that out of here now. We'll get that in the tray and we'll have a look. So this one actually does look really, really nice. It's slightly bigger. I think this one's a 60 litre. Everything on it is brand new, and what I like about it is it actually has a fuel gauge, has a fuel sender. So I'm not sure if I'm going to need that, but if I ever want to drive this thing on the road, it would be convenient. So the other thing I like about it is that I don't have any tank straps to mount. It actually mounts down from the actual sides here. It's got mounting tabs, so that depending on where they line up with, that might be an issue. They don't really line up with the floor anywhere that I can mount it. I'm not sure which way to go. I am swaying towards the plastic tank, just because this build is about what I have and doing it as cheap as possible. But that one does look good. I really do like that fuel cell there. So let's have a bit of a think on it and then we'll come back. Okay, I've made up my mind with this fuel cell. So I've made my decision based on the ease of fitment for this tank, and the decision I've made is that I'll go for the plastic tank, purely because our mounts line up with our ribs, and that's going to make it way easier to mount. I don't have to make any spaces or anything like that. I don't have to worry about getting too involved with this fitment. So it's not the one that I wanted to use, because I did like the look of the aluminium tank, but we've got plenty of other projects out there that'll end up in, and it's a 12 to 2K project. And I guess if anyone out there was hoping to do something like this, they probably wouldn't go out and buy a brand new fuel cell. They might try and pick up something like this off of Marketplace or something. And you could probably pick this up for $30 to $50, because it is secondhand. It's been in a number of cars, and even though it's still usable, it isn't brand new. So just for anyone out there that actually wants to do something like this, I think the decision's been made because purely that that is the way you'd go if you're doing it on a budget. So let's get that mounted. We're going to have to chop a hole in the floor. So we'll do a few measurements here. Chop a hole in the floor, get it mounted flat on the floor there, get some bolts in it, and move on to the next step. Alright, so we're going to have to lop out a really big section of floor to fit this in. If you have a look here, you can see this is a wedge shape. It goes from the rear to almost the front. That's all got to be below the floor. So in order for that to work properly, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to measure this, take some measurements, find out where in regards to the floor it needs to go, and we're going to start cutting. So first things first, I want to find my center point here and center point here, line them up and make some marks. Okay, so I've made some quick measurements, and the center line is basically right through the guts here. You can see where that groove is in that wheel arch, and this one is in here. That is the center point. So we're going to measure now from here to here, find our center, line that up with that, and then we're going to draw some marks where we need to cut out the floor. .420. Okay, so 420, 210. 210. Now we're going to line that up as best as we can. What do we want here? See here. Get that there. Now, we're just going to eyeball this. We're not even going to bother measuring it. The center of the filler is going to be the center of the tank, thereabouts. So, hop that forward a bit, right there. We're good. Center it up here. We're good. Now, get a marker. we're going to measure our front. We're going to mark our front, sorry. There we go. Front of the tank. Mark the back. Like that. Okay, so we've clearly got some marks here that we need to follow. We'll start smaller. We'll just cut up to this rib, because we can always cut off more, but you can't put it back on. Okay, nice straight line. Now we just need to measure. Now we need to get our top line straight, so we need to find out how far back from this edge do we need to cut. So that to me looks like I'd say 360, 370 to be safe. All right, so 370 from this line here. We'll go to there. Same again. 370. All right. Draw a line across that so we know. Cut it out. All right, guys. If this is your car, make sure you get underneath and have a look first, that you're not going to cut through stuff that you don't want to cut through. But we're just going to wing it. Let's go. And this is why you should have a look underneath first. So what we've got here is a reinforcement. So that's not going to work, because once that's in place, they're going to be in the reinforcement. So we have two options here. One is cut the reinforcement at the rear so the fuel lines can fit past, or two is cut the front one, move the whole lot forward, and then batch the floor again. I think I'll get underneath and have a quick look now. I should have done that before, obviously, but I'll get under there now and have a look and see what we've got to work with, and then we'll make our decision. Times like this, I wish I had a mechanics creeper. Anyway, you make do. Hey, Rogie. Hello, Rogie. Hey, Rogie. She knows I'm about to lay on the ground. You're a good girl. All right, let's get some work done. Come on. Okay. So, looking at that, that is actually body mount, that front one. So we're not going to cut into that. What we're going to do is we're going to come back here and take out this one, which isn't as structural or as important. So we're going to just chop that out of there so that our fuel lines can fit in. And then I'm not sure how I'll go with that. I might reinforce it once we're finished. We'll wait and see once we're done. I'll probably figure something out, but yeah, all right. Decision's made. We're cutting out the back one, not the front one. So we'll just go back a little bit further. We'll chop this whole thing out because that's going to be in the way. We'll get our tank mounted and then we'll come back and have a look later. Okay, happy with that. Let's go. All right, so I forgot to grab the camera when I was doing that, but I've cut that piece of floor out now. So we'll go up top and we will see if we can get that fuel cell in. So there was a little bit of tension on there, and I probably, looking back, should have braced it, but I don't think it moved very much, and it's only the tray floor, so it's not structural in any way. So, but still, safety first, guys. But yeah, anyway, we've got our hole there, so now hopefully everything fits. Let's get up the top. Perfect. All right, so as you can see, we've got good fitment there. So we'll take our fuel hoses off, get it tucked right down under there, and get some of these straps on. Let's do it. Well, that's new. I didn't expect this to happen. We aren't going to be able to get the fuel lines below the floor and have it all look neat, because the tray itself is perforated, so the fuel lines aren't going to sit below the tray. But that's okay, because we've cut out the floor where we need it, and now we actually can get the tank back in the center line of the rear axle. So all we really need to do, we're going to leave that open, that's fine. We'll take a measurement here, because obviously our tank straps are not the right length. We'll make two the same as that side. So we're going to cut this side down, put another bend on it, and that'll be it. So all we have to do here is, because this tank is going to be running the fuel lines below the floor, the tank's going to be running flat on the floor, so we just have to change the length of the legs on these straps to make them both the same length. So this side over here, what measurement have we got? 260, and over here we've got 315. So what we're going to do is, we'll do this one first. Get a tape measure, sit it there, and what we're going to do is just make a rough mark where we think we want it, which is 260s there. Okay, so we're going to make that a right angle bend. We'll do the same with that one over there. Stick them back on, bolt them down. Okay, so these tank straps are actually rough as guts. I actually bought this thing secondhand a few years ago, and this is how they were when I got them. And the holes haven't been drilled central to the strap, and they're not central to you know, your forward and backwards. So what I'm going to do is drill one hole, get that in place, square up my tank, and then I'll drill the other one. That's the only way I can see that I'm going to make this thing look any good. If I measure back from a known good point, the same measurement on both sides, the tank's going to end up on a bit of an angle, and I'm not going to be happy with that. So we'll run with this idea, we'll get one mounted, square it up, mount the other, and then we'll do the front tank straps. Let's go. Okay, we're going to be drilling out these holes to 5/16. So I have my 5/16 bit here. I'll pilot hold it with my step bit so I can go through both layers. What the plan is here is, so I've drilled through there and I've drilled through the reinforcement. I'll just stack some washers in there, and then when I go to bolt this all together, that'll be really, really strong. Same on this side, there's a gap. So that gap is basically on the high point of this ridge. So all we do is we'll space that gap, put something in there so it clamps down tight. That way when we do the bolts up, it won't squish, and it'll make this mounting so much better. So I'll drill this one now. I'll finish drilling this one. I'll get that squared up, we'll drill that one. We're nearly there. All right guys, time for a lesson in Reese's shed. we're going to do drill bit sharpening today. So we're over there, we're trying to drill the holes for the tank straps, and this thing's blunt and won't go through. So what I've done is I've actually gone to Marketplace and I've bought myself a bench grinder for 25 bucks, bargain, just so that we can stick with the budget. If you guys don't have a drill bit sharpener, you can go out, get yourself a bench grinder, cheap, and I'll teach you the technique on how to get that done. I do actually have a brand new bench grinder over there. Very, very nice machine. But as with everything else we've been doing, this is budget related. And if you get stuck and you don't want to go and buy a set of drill bits, this is the time, guys. Get yourself a bench grinder and Uncle Reese will teach you how to sharpen a drill bit. Alright, so first things first, when you have a look at your drill bit, focus, you got your cutting edge which is on the top, and on the back is a trailing edge. So this drill bit here has been used hundreds of times and the cutting edge is no good. So what we're going to do is we're going to refresh the cutting edge, and I'll show you two techniques on how to get it sharp again. Okay, so the first technique I like to call tuck and roll. So you start the drill bit in the drill, tuck, and then roll. Okay, so what that looks like is you're on about a 45-degree angle upwards and about a 45 almost degree sideways, basically mimicking the cutting edge that you already have. And we're going to run across the grinder sideways like this, and just going to sharpen up that cutting edge. I'm going to flip the drill bit over, do the same thing again, and then we're going to roll. So once we've got that sharp edge, we're going to push up into the grinder ever so slightly, just gently, don't force it in and cause yourself mischief. In, and then roll clockwise, and you're going to get yourself a nice trailing edge. So let's do that now on one side of the drill bit. I'll show you, and then we'll use the second technique on the back. Okay, so we have on this side a sharp cutting edge. So we've done our tuck. Now we're going to roll clockwise into the stone, clockwise. Okay, now what you want to achieve here is that your cutting edge is your highest point, and then your following edge travels away, okay, lower and away. So you want this to be biting in right on your cutting edge here, and then everything else to be lower than that edge. So as you can see, I don't know if you can see, very sharp, done. Now, what we're going to do on the second side is what this company has done from day one, which is just the 2 angle grind. So the way we do that is first stage is the same as the tuck and roll, and then the second stage is just grind. So we're going to grind, grind. That's the first edge. So we've got a sharp cutting edge, and now we're going to take the back away. To do that, it's the exact same process of what you just done with the first one, just a change of angle. more like this. So you got 45, a bit more of an angle. We're just taking the back edge off. Okay, so that's now finished. And you can see it's a slightly different technique. Still has the same effect. Just two different ways of doing it. Whatever way is the easiest for you is what I recommend. I like the tuck and roll because that's the way that most drill bits are made originally. But if you only want to do the 2-angle grind, just do it. You'll still get a sharp drill bit and it'll be fine. So there you go, guys. That's how to sharpen a drill bit with Uncle Reese. Get into it. Alright, we've got those holes drilled. Time for a drink. Don't forget to hydrate, guys. Alright, now we've got to find some bolts, bolt this thing down. And I've got a surprise for you. Stick around. Alright, we're back. Had a bit of a battery flattery situation. Alright, we're back. Had a bit of a flat battery situation on the GoPro. So you guys are on the charger now, but we're back in business and I can show you what my secret was. So a while back now, probably about, I don't know, Aussie Rhino could probably tell me because he's known this secret for a long time. Probably 3 months I'd say has gone past. I picked up this absolute bargain on Marketplace. About a 3/4 full bottle. I think it's a 10-pounder, so it's got a fair bit of nitrous in it. And a wet kit for a 4-barrel Holly. And I picked it up for 150 bucks. I'm going to put up a screenshot somewhere here now of the purchase, just so you guys know I'm not full of shit. But at that point, I knew that this car was a 12-second quarter-mile car, because at the very minimum, if this engine makes 120, 130 horsepower at the wheels, so we've got 120, 130 there, put probably another 100 horsepower into it with the turbo, because that thing is enormous, and then we've got nitrous on top. At the moment, that thing has 100 shot in it, so at the bare minimum, we've got 300 horsepower. 300 horsepower in this car is 12 seconds. It did come with other bits and pieces. Jets and whatnot. So it can make more power. But I think we'll stay conservative. We'll run the engine and the turbo conservatively. We'll put a little bit of nitrous in it. We'll get just the bare minimum we need to make this thing do the passes at 12 seconds. Make sure we nail it, and then we'll turn it up. But that's the secret I've been holding for ages now. And now you guys know. Just had to get to the point where we're fitting a fuel system to let you guys know, but that's where we're at. And I understand that not everyone's going to be able to pick up a nitrous kit for 150 bucks, but I did, and because I did the work. I'm on Marketplace every day. I've got my reminders set. There's things that I know that I want and need, and when they come up, I just buy them. So this is probably a one-off, and I think that for the most part, you're looking at about $500 or $600 for something like this. But we got lucky this time, and I'm just gonna take it. So we'll get this thing fitted right now. At least they're gonna get the bottle fitted, and we'll have a look at how long our nitrous line is and see if we've got enough to get to the front, which he did say that it was in the boot of his car, so the line will definitely be long enough. So yeah, let's have a look at that now. And then we're probably gonna have to run down to the town because we've run out of hardware to mount our fuel cell. So we'll probably get that done, and it's already after lunch. We're running out of time, as always. But yeah, so let's chuck some self-tappers or something into this thing just to get it in place. We'll check out our line length and then we'll see how we go from there. Okay, that's the bottle mounted. Now let's see how long this line is and if we've got enough reach to get to the front. Well, that's a yes. So we've got the nitrous line here that's running down through the seal panel, just temporarily, obviously. We're just checking length here, guys, don't get too worried. Oop. So it's popping out the side here, it's touching the ground all the way along there, and then back up into the engine bay, and we've got heaps of line. So that is a win. I'm not worried about that at all. I'm gonna have to drill another hole in the floor and I'm gonna get a rib nut kit. So I've actually mounted this right now with some roofing screws, as you can see, just to get bottle placement. What we'll do now is we'll punch a hole in the floor here so our nitrous line can go straight down and through, and then we'll just keep on going. So I am happy with how this is all turning out. I think that nitrous bottle placement is exactly what I wanted. It looks like it's neat and tidy, it's in the right place. We've got the weight across the rear axles there, and we've got the bottle facing to the front, so our pickup tube will work perfectly, and I'm happy with it. So this thing so far is really getting somewhere, and I do want to get this fuel system going, but unfortunately my fuel lines still haven't arrived. 6 weeks from China, and not happy about it because the ad itself said that I'd have these lines in 2 to 3 weeks maximum. I've contacted the supplier and they're still on their way. They do have a tracking number, they're in transit. It's just real piss off because I want to have this thing fueled, like lined up, fueled, ready to go. I will show you what I've been working on in the meantime, because I do have other things on the go in the background, and I am making a video on this, but I just haven't really gotten around to it at the moment. I don't have enough footage, but I've been pulling apart Holley carbies. So I've got a bunch of Holley stuff here. I actually need that. That's one of the turbo flange bolts. Alright, so I've got my bench here set up, and I've been just tinkering away with Holley stuff. So I've decided that this is going to be the base that I'm going to use, and I've faced it down. So basically, got my file. I ended up draw filing the base. So draw file this way, and then I added a block that I've actually gone in and fitted this way and gone back and forth. So that's been filed down nice and flat, because they're not flat from factory. They've got a really thick gasket, which is good, but I like to face them. And then I've gone along, same thing, been tinkering away with this one for a while. You can see the high spots that I've taken off, same thing. Been draw filing. Like I say, this will all come up in a later video. Taken my bowls and got them all cleaned up, so they're perfect now. And I've been tinkering around with metering blocks. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do with these yet, but I'm pretty sure that I am going to run just a standard metering block on the primary, and then a blocked off power valve on the rear. I did order two boost referenced power valves, because I did want to use like a four corner idle metering blocks and all that work. But I think what I might do just on this one is, with all the bits that I've got here, I've got a good set of jets, like really good size. So I think I might run a blocked off metering block and oversized jets in the secondaries, and in the primaries I'll run a boost referenced power valve. And I think that'll give us the best results. That's what I'm going to play with for now, but I do have a bunch of options. I have got my floats, my Nitrous floats, so that's ready to go back together. I've got my Holley rebuild kit here. Like I say, I'll be doing a video on this for you guys down the track, probably next week. Just getting through a bunch of stuff now, because I have been stripping Hollies like crazy just to get the bits that I want to make this the way that I want it to be. So I do have a selection of stuff out here. Let me show you. So this is my Holley collection, some of it, and I've stripped down a lot of things there, because this is one of those things that it's the brain of the engine and you want to get it right. So at the moment we've got the 750 on the car. We've got the 750 Holley on there. That is it's a good carby, but that's not going to be good for this long term, because it's just going to be too rich. So what I want to achieve is, the reason why I'm going with what I've gone with here is, for one, budget. I've got a 600 Holley double pumper base, but with a blow through, you're blowing air and fuel into your engine, so you're forcing this carburetor to be a bigger carburetor. So if we went with the 750, it would be fine. It's going to be rich, fat, whatever you want to call it. But with this 600, we're still probably going to be rich, but we're rich in the range of we can adjust and alter things to make it perfect. Whereas with the 750, we're probably bordering on not being able to tune the thing very accurately, just because of the sheer size of it, and the engine itself isn't a big engine. So yeah, what I've done, stripped down everything. I've found a good base plate over there, one that doesn't have very badly worn shafts, so I'll be using that one. I'll be using this base, probably this primary metering block here, just because it's all standard, hasn't been played with, so I can mess around with that and actually make it what I want. And then I'm toying with the idea of running this blocked off rear. So that's the plan so far. I did order a set of needle and seats. Oh shit. Lucky this is an old one. I did order a set of needle and seats for this carby, and I decided to go with the 1/10 thou needle and seats. So they're a little bit bigger, and they'll allow us to fill the bowls faster, and hopefully not too big that we're going to flood. So we won't know until we start this engine up and get it under boost, but I think this is going to be the best starting point with all the bits that I already have that are basically set, like they're for this engine. The jets selection that I have, the power valve selection that I have, all the metering blocks and all that sort of thing is going to be catered to this engine, as opposed to just putting a really big carby on there and not really having much tunability. So bear with me on that. That will be coming up. But for now, we do need to finish off the fuel system on the ute here. So it's just a shame that we don't have hoses, because I'd love to hose it up. And without the hoses, I can't really even put our fuel pumps in. I will grab them out. We'll have a look at those, and we'll get them sort of in place. But we need to know exactly how long our fuel lines are going to be, and make sure that the kit that I've ordered has enough fuel line, because otherwise I'm going to have to buy another kit and wait another however long. So, all right, we'll leave it there. I'll go and grab that fuel pump. we'll get that set up here somewhere. We'll have a look at it, and then we'll see how much time we've got left in the rest of the day. Okay, so plans have changed again. So I'm not sure how many times the plans changed now, but it's quite a few, and this one has had to happen. It's something it's unavoidable, and I'll show you what I'm dealing with. So I've pulled all my wiring harness out, everything's stripped back out again, because I've realised that my surge tank isn't going to be any good over that side when I've got turbocharger, everything all here, charge pipe, lots and lots and lots of things going on. So I can't also be running my fuel pumps over here. It's a safety thing, and it's also a packaging thing. So gone ahead and pulled all my wires back off, got myself a clean area to work in, and I'm planning to run this in my battery tray. But I'm not set on it. I'll show you the other idea. So just so you know too, guys, I'm going to be running one of these pumps, not both. It's just for now. I've got it assembled, and that's what I'm dealing with, so I'm just going to carry it around like this. So once I'm ready, I'll just cap one of those and we'll just run one pump. So my first idea was up under the bonnet. My second idea is to run this tank here. I'm not entirely sure if I like that idea. I don't know how it's going to work because I haven't done this before. So what I'm thinking is we need to get gravity from this tank to here. So I'd like to run this a lot lower in the vehicle if possible. I know that I've got a pump here that's going to draw fuel up into there. So as long as my fuel level is above here, I am still sweet, I'm still good. But I just don't, I would have preferred to have this down lower and also up the front, so we've got some more weight up the front. But it may not happen. So when the fuel lines come in, I'll decide what the plan is there. So we probably won't run this in the back. We'll probably run this under the bonnet, but it's a plan that's in my mind. It's like plan B or C if all the other things don't go right. So for now, this is going to be it for the video. I've been going over hurdles all day trying to get stuff done. Haven't really got anything done. I've got a fuel tank bolted in, and I've got a nitrous tank bolted in, and I've got my nitrous hose over there. That's where it's going to go. I'm going to get a grommet over there for the drain hole, and I'll run it through there. I've run it along the chassis up to the front already. So that's all done. I'm happy that this is all in. I just don't feel like I've got very far, and I've run out of time because it's 5 o'clock already. And it is the middle of summer now, so you can see it's bright, but it is 5 o'clock. And I've got to go in and spend time with the family because that's my first priority. But yeah, let me know in the comments, should I be running this surge tank in the back with the rest of the system and a fuel line to the return and supply to the front, or should I run this under the bonnet? So I do have a regulator. Actually, I'll pull that out now. So this is the fuel regulator that we'll be using. It's a Malpassi style 1-to-1 ratio. So every pound of boost, we're going to get a pound of extra fuel pressure. So that's the system we're going to be running. So we've got the old fuel cell, surge tank, one pump, not two. And then this, we're going to be using flexible PTFE fuel lines. And yeah, so that'll be the whole system. Let me know in the comments what you think. If there's something that you think I should do, or I'm doing wrong, or give me some ideas, because at this stage nothing's locked in with the fuel system. I'm going to carry on with this carby throughout the week, so then that will be finished, and we're just going to be working our way back to here. So there is time. This video, it's actually going out tomorrow, which is the first time I've done that in a long time, so we're actually up to date on the videos. I'm not ahead. So any advice that you guys can give or suggestions should be very helpful. But yeah, guys, that's as far as we're going this week. I hope you liked it. I know that we didn't get through a lot. Maybe the nitrous excites some people, maybe it doesn't. Let me know in the comments, and drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the hype button, because that's very important. The hype is getting a lot of my videos seen much more than they probably would otherwise. And remember guys, those projects aren't going to finish themselves. Get in the shed.